The Dodgers go back-to-back. Did we just watch the greatest World Series ever? The Patriots win ugly on Sunday. What does it mean? And are we watching the greatest athlete in the history of his sport? The Boston Globe Sports Report starts right now. Welcome to the Boston Globe Sports Report. I am Ben Volin. We are joined today. We got a great show. We've got Alex Speier, the great baseball writer from the Boston Globe. We'll have Red Sox great Fred Lynn coming in later for an interview, and Danielle Dubois will be by to bring the fan perspective. All right, Alex. I know there was a lot of football on Sunday. We'll get to the Patriots improving to 7-2 in a minute. But, man, I still haven't caught my breath over that World Series that finished over the weekend. Dodgers do it again, taking down the Blue Jays in 7 games. What's your biggest takeaway from watching that incredible series, Alex?
That baseball can be incredible, and that the sustained drama over the course of 7 games, when you have so many contests, so many moments when the season is in balance. You think about all of the kind of microscopic details, whether it was the size of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's lead in the 10th inning when he failed to score and was thrown out by about 1 inch on a forced play at home, or the opportunity for someone who never hits homers off of righties like Miguel Rojas to hit a game-tying home run in the bottom of the 9th inning, or rather the top of the 9th inning in Game 7, or being able to watch that incredible drama that went down to the very last out. There is nothing like the sustained drama of a World Series. Nothing, I don't think, that we've ever seen like the sustained drama of this World Series.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Alex. This is probably my second favorite World Series of all time. To me, nothing will ever top 2001 when the Diamondbacks took down the Yankees. You had those dramatic games when B.K. Kim was giving up the home runs late, and then Luis Gonzalez defeats the Yankees, getting the hit off Mariano Rivera. Like, nothing to me will ever beat that. But this World Series with the Dodgers and Blue Jays is a close second. Just phenomenal drama throughout the entire 7-game series. You know, superstars on both sides of the plate coming up big in the big moments. To me, this had just about everything other than the 2001 series.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that it was even more dramatic than the 2001 series, although, you know, that you obviously have to strip it from the cultural context, which took it to a different level in 2001, coming off the terrorist attacks of 9/11. But this was just in terms of an intrinsic baseball event, more sustained drama than we've ever seen, where so many of the at-bats, you know, a much higher percentage of the at-bats featured a game that was hanging in the balance, where the lead state could change with any given at-bat. So for me, the drama of this surpassed any 7-game World Series that I can see, and I include 2001, 1991, 1997, which was the only other time in my lifetime that you had a game-tying hit in the 9th inning, followed by an extra innings World Series. This was right up there with maybe anything up since like 1924.
Man, hearing you say 1991 takes me back, though. Jack Morris versus John Smoltz, 10 innings, 0-0 game. That was some great drama, too. All right, real quick, Alex. The Dodgers winning the World Series, is that telling us that, you know what, you need to spend money now to win the World Series? Is that what the lesson that the Red Sox should take away from this?
Well, it's not just that the Dodgers won the World Series, but also the Blue Jays were there. And the Blue Jays are a team that started building intensely once they had a core that had arrived in the majors in Bichette and Guerrero. And they kept adding significant players, not necessarily the Shohei Ohtani caliber players, but, you know, the Gossmans of the world, as well as the George Springers of the world, as well as the Ryus of the world, and Jose Berrios. So I think that when you see that opportunity and you think that you have a shot at a championship, you continue to invest immense resources. The Red Sox started doing that with Crochet last year and Bregman. Now they need to continue that if they want to take advantage of the cycle building around Roman Anthony and Crochet.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should realistically expect the Red Sox or any team to be like the Dodgers and just spend crazy money year after year. But the Blue Jays do offer a good blueprint. You can develop your own talent, but also go out and pay big money for stars and supplement your team and get to the World Series. So let's see if the Red Sox have learned those lessons. Okay, now moving along. Thank you, Alex. For today's hot take, I'm going to offer my help to the suits at Major League Baseball because the scheduling of the World Series was atrocious for fans and a huge missed opportunity for MLB. You know, I'm sure they have all the metrics pointing out that 8 o'clock East Coast start times are the best way to maximize TV ratings across the country. But MLB should focus more on the end time, 11 o'clock or later, which is ridiculous for the average fan. Call it East Coast bias if you want. But 50% of the country lives on the East Coast, and all of the most dramatic moments in one of the greatest World Series ever happened after most people fell asleep. Sorry, West Coast baseball fans, you need to get used to more 3 and 4 o'clock start times because the late nights on the East Coast are hurting the sport. All right, coming up next, we've got the interview. We're going to bring in Red Sox great Fred Lynn to talk about Roman Anthony and the tradition. Welcome back to the show, and now we're going to head into the interview. And today's guest, you know him as a center fielder for the Red Sox back in the glory days, 1975. Fred Lynn, welcome to the show here. I believe, Fred, you guys know him as the first player to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. Fred, thanks so much for joining the show. We're coming off an incredible World Series here, truly a fall classic between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Watching this series, I'm just curious, did it take you back to 1975 at all?
You know what? A little bit it did, because there's so much drama, especially in Game 7. And actually, Game 7 is the only game that I watched in its entirety. I didn't stay up for 18 innings, by the way. And, you know, it definitely reminded me of Game 6 and Game 7. And the way that the Blue Jays lost that game, a play at the plate, which, you know, it was very close. But if the guy takes a secondary lead, he probably scores. And then for me, it's remembering Joe Morgan's blue pit in Game 7 for the winning hit. It was just one of those things. He hit it in no man's land. It was wet turf, and I couldn't get to the ball, and we ended up losing 4-3. So I know the heartbreak that Toronto Blue Jays are feeling, the players and the fans. They're just crushed. But, you know, having said that, it was a great World Series, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it.
No question. And, yeah, you got to feel for the fans. Game 7 at home, to have to watch the Dodgers celebrating on their field just kind of rips your heart out. I want to ask you, Fred, about the current Red Sox. They have a young phenom now, Roman Anthony. I believe he wears the same number that you wore when you patrolled the Fenway Park outfield. Have you ever met Roman Anthony? Do you feel any sort of kinship with the young outfielder?
You know, I happened to be in Boston when he came up, and so I got to see him play right away. I liked his swing. I know he's wearing the same number, and he changed numbers to get to that one. So that was a pretty cool thing, and I love left-handed hitters that wear 19. But I think he has a tremendous future. It was just a shame that he got hurt when he did, because the Red Sox were rolling. With him in the lineup, he was an integral part of the club as a rookie, and I see great things for him. I'm not sure where he's going to play. I'm guessing left. I don't know where his natural position is, but I sure like what he does at the plate.
No question. Yeah, his injury, that was a tough blow for the Red Sox. Really, it seemed to take some wind out of the sails of the offense. Fred, you're going to be in town in Boston on November 18th for the Tradition. You're going to be honored by the Sports Museum at their annual fundraiser, the Tradition. Curious, what does this honor mean for you?
Well, you know what? Anytime you're honored by the city of Boston and that organization, you know, it's a good honor. And I know I've seen the previous award winners, honorees, and it's a storied list. So just to be part of that program is very special. My wife and I are very much looking forward to going and actually meeting the other athletes, because they're a little after my time. So it's fun for me to visit with the other athletes from different sports and to get their input on what's going on in their world.
No question. I'm looking forward to seeing big Vince Wilfork at the event.
Yeah, I know that name.
Yeah. All right, Fred, now we're going to end it with 3 quick questions here, all right? These are kind of rapid fire.
Sure.
Which ballpark that in today's Major League Baseball do you wish that you could play in?
Well, you know, obviously my favorite is Fenway Park, but, you know, I'd like to play where you hit the ball and it goes out, like Baltimore. There's a few parks today in today's game where, like Philadelphia, you make solid contact, it's gone. Anywhere on the West Coast, not so much.
Yeah, I think that right field at Yankee Stadium would suit you pretty well today, Fred.
Yes, true.
Number 2, you played in the era of cookie cutter stadiums and AstroTurf. Which stadium had the worst AstroTurf that you played on?
Well, you know, I played in the American League, and so we only had Kansas City and Minnesota. They went indoors. but everybody else was outdoors and on regular grass. Most of the stadiums that I played in were football stadiums that said, we'll play baseball here. But the worst I ever played, you can take your pick on these: Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Oh, they were those were awful. In Philadelphia, those are the cookie cutters that you said. I couldn't tell one from another, to be honest with you, but they were hard. There was no cushioning on the turf and hot on your feet.
Yeah, I can't imagine having to play center field on basically concrete at Veterans Stadium. All right, last question, Fred. In your post-baseball career, has there been an unexpected friendship with a rival or a baseball player that you've struck up with that maybe you wouldn't have expected during your playing days?
Well, that's a really good question, by the way. Yeah, anybody that played with the Yankees. In our day, we didn't fraternize with the enemy. In fact, it was frowned upon by the league. So I spoke to any of those guys that I played against. But post-career, Greg Nettles, I liked Greg, Sparky Lyle, and Goose Gossage. These guys I met during the charity golf tournaments and things like that. And I liked them. It's hard for me to say, but they were pretty good guys. And I respected them as opponents. But back in the day, we wouldn't speak to each other.
That's great. All right, Fred Lynn, thank you so much. You're going to be here November 18th at the Tradition at the Sports Museum. Thank you so much for joining us today. Coming up next, Alex Speier and I are going to get into the pigskin. Patriots win on Sunday, but should we start being concerned about where the Patriots are heading right now? Coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Now, Alex, we turn to You Might Be Right. Let's talk some pigskin. Patriots took down the Falcons on Sunday, 24-23. A real nail-biter at the end. The Patriots still come away with the victory, Alex. They're 7-2, number 2 seed in the AFC. I mean, no one expected this at all, and yet I come away from that game not feeling as great about the team. Am I crazy to think that, some of their flaws really got exposed on Sunday?
I don't think that that's crazy to say, but at the same time, you shouldn't lose sight of the bigger picture here, which is 6 straight wins. When was the last time that the Patriots had any prayer of being able to win a game in which they were exposed, in which their flaws were very nakedly on display? Sometimes when they were at their best in recent seasons, they would still lose games. So this is a different Patriots team. Yes, it was a fortunate victory for them, but you win 6 straight games, you have a great chance of making the playoffs. Since 2000, there have been 135 teams that went on 6-game winning streaks. 93% of them made the playoffs.
It's a good stat, Alex. I like that. The Patriots definitely deserve credit for pulling out that victory, and they had a terrific first half. I mean, they put up 3 touchdowns in 4 drives to build a nice, comfortable lead against the Falcons. That said, I didn't love the way that they played in the second half, and they let really a one-dimensional Falcons team really chew them up in the second half. Michael Penix didn't have much of a run game and really only had one receiver, Drake London. And the Falcons really made it a big nuisance for the Patriots. And if not for a lot of luck, a missed field goal and an intentional grounding in which the Falcons accused the Patriots of cheating, I don't know if the Patriots would have won that game. So, this was not like a world-beater opponent for the Patriots. This is at home against the Falcons. I'm concerned about how this team is looking now.
Yeah, we get carried away sometimes with style points based on the strength of opposition. Look, the Buccaneers team that we're going to be talking about a lot in the coming week ended up almost losing to the Falcons in week 1 of the season, needed a drive that netted them a game-winning touchdown in the final minute of the game. So it's not... Ultimately, it's about the bottom line. This is a Patriots team that's positioned itself very well and that is on the kind of upward trajectory that none of us expected. It's a much steeper ascent than any of us foresaw entering this season. And the fact that they won a game where they were so flawed says something about where they are.
Yeah, we were making a joke of last year that was a game the Patriots would have lost. And not only would they have lost, but instead of the missed extra point, the other team would have kicked a 60-yard field goal to win it. So no question, the team's fortunes have turned around this year under Mike Vrabel. And no one wants to take away the incredible start to the season that the Patriots have had. But as even Mike Vrabel would say, they don't crown any champions after 9 games. And boy, have the Patriots just been beating up on a lot of bad teams. I mean, you can only play who's put in front of you, Alex, but this is not a team that's really been challenged much. And the fact that they played so poorly against the Falcons on Sunday has me worried about when they do have to play real teams like the Bengals and the Ravens.
Yeah, well, it'll be a real test to see what they do in the heat of Florida this coming weekend. But right now, they beat the Bills. They have done a good job of beating the opponents that are in front of them.
No question. All right, thanks, Alex. All right, moving along to today's slam dunk. Let's build off last week's hot take when I said the Patriots absolutely shouldn't trade for a wide receiver. That remains true even with Kayshon Boutte injuring his hamstring on Sunday. But while the Patriots shouldn't trade for a receiver, they absolutely should make a move before Tuesday's 4 p.m. trade deadline. They do need help, as we saw Sunday against Atlanta. A pass rusher is the biggest need, but also help in the secondary and probably another running back. Most importantly, they need to make a move for bigger picture reasons. It'll show the locker room and the fans that they're going for it this year, that they understand that the Patriots, the biggest surprise in the NFL, realize they have a special opportunity this year and are going for it. No one's saying the Patriots should get silly and trade a bunch of high draft picks, but not making any moves before the deadline will feel like a missed opportunity. All right, now we move to breaking it down, and let's get back to the diamond. Alex, I think you've been kicking around a column idea about Shohei Ohtani, and is he the greatest Major League Baseball player ever to play in a diamond? Tell me about that.
My jaw was dropping over the course of the month of October. I have, in the other sports, we've had these questions about, are we watching the best ever in their sport? I got to live through it with Jordan. We've gotten to see it with Brady, and before him, the conversation, about the Joe Montanas of the world. This is, we got to see Gretzky. This is the first time in generations and generations that there's been an opportunity to even ask this question about a Major League Baseball player, and I think that the answer is emphatically yes, with the caveat that there were some Negro Leagues greats who are obscured by the fact that baseball wasn't integrated until 1947. There were some incredible two-way talents in the Negro Leagues, but what Shohei did was at an otherworldly performance level. The performance in which he threw 6 shutout innings while hitting 3 homers remains the greatest thing that any of us have ever seen a player do in one game on a baseball field.
So, okay. First of all, I don't disagree with much of what you said there. Ohtani is incredible, and he's probably one of the 3 or 4 players in Major League Baseball where you drop everything what you're doing to watch his at-bats. I mean, they are must-watch TV in our household. But tell me, Alex, why is he better than Babe Ruth? Why is he better than Ted Williams? Why is Ohtani ahead of those guys?
Because he does more than what they did. Babe Ruth, when he was a pitcher in the World Series with the Red Sox at the beginning of his career, was actually very ineffective as a hitter in October. No one has done both things like Shohei has done it. And I think that, look, he's already at the point where he's been doing this for 8 years, and so MLB teams have been trying to replicate this. No one's come close to being able to find another instance of this. It's broken other players who've tried to follow suit. He is a one of one.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Next, Danielle Dubois heads out to Gillette Stadium to talk to the fans and get their hot takes. Welcome back to the show. All right, Alex, let's move on to Wicked Loud now, where we bring in Danielle Dubois. Danielle, you went out to the Patriots game on Sunday to talk to some fans and get their hot takes. What do you got for us this week?
That's right. Fans were very excited, so let's not wait any longer and kick it over to Andrew, who had a lot to say about the running back room.
My hot take, Henderson will take the lead back role after today's game. Wow.
His friend was really impressed with that answer. Travion Henderson, nice game on Sunday against the Falcons. Filled in for Ramondre Stevenson. He took like 50 snaps, clearly the lead back role. I don't think he's going to be replacing Ramondre Stevenson. Just a different type of running back. He's more of a shifty, quicker, outside kind of running back. Can run between the tackles when he needs to. But Stevenson is the guy who's going to be gaining the tough yards. And you're hearing in recent weeks that the Patriots offense is kind of looking like the Titans offense from Vrabel's days. And Stevenson's kind of playing that Derrick Henry role. So I think as soon as Stevenson's back, he's going back to the lead running back role.
Completely agree. Now we kick it over to Cassandra, who has a lot to say about Drake May as well.
Drake May is the next Tom Brady.
I mean, Alex, do you think he could be?
No. I mean, with all due respect to Drake May, he's been great. I think that we have certainly had to reassess where his ceiling is going, but to think that he would be the next guy to win 7 Super Bowls and play until he's 1,000,000 years old, I think that might be putting a little bit more on his shoulders than seems appropriate at this moment. But I think that he's actually an amazing quarterback, and I think he's vaulted himself very clearly into the top 5, top 3 conversation in the NFL, which is an unbelievable place for him to be, and a great commendation to his year-over-year progress.
It totally is. Now moving into Saved You a Click to see what's going on in the world of social media. Kicking it off, Cardi B and Robert Kraft, an unlikely duo at the Patriots game this week. Cardi B with Stephon Diggs. Very excited, celebrating just like him. I mean, Ben, who expected Cardi B to be in Foxborough?
It was a nice touch by the Patriots. I'm going to go ahead and say this wasn't exactly spontaneous. They waited to show her, of course, until after Stephon Diggs scored his touchdown. So he scores the touchdown. They play a Cardi B song on the PA system. And then what do you know? A minute later, they show her in Robert Kraft's box. You know what? It's great, though. The buzz is back in Foxborough. Cardi B would never have wanted to go to a Patriots game before this year. So at least the buzz is back.
It for sure is. Now, our last social media post for this week is Alex Cora, Red Sox manager, who just ran the New York City Marathon this weekend. Alex Speier, I mean, talk to me about what that's like for Alex Cora.
I mean, it's pretty hilarious that he's doing this. He finished his baseball season this year in New York, getting vanquished by the Yankees, and then he's back there and being celebrated as a popular figure in New York City. It's a remarkable accomplishment, though. Alex just turned 50 years old last month, and so I'm super impressed by the fact that he's kind of throwing different levels of achievement in front of himself, different challenges, and being able to tackle this is pretty special, along with his partner Angelica.
Yeah, good for Alex Cora. I can barely drive 26 miles, let alone run, so good for him. All right, thank you, Danielle Dubois. All right, Alex, now let's end the show with our Hail Marys, our predictions for the week. What do you got for us?
We're forgetting about the Celtics, but I think that this is the week when they'll actually look kind of decent, give people hope. They have bad opponents. They're going to go 3-0 this week, and the kind of dust will settle a little bit around them.
My Hail Mary, the Patriots are heading down to the Sunshine State again, and for all that bad talk I said before about the Patriots and how worried I am, Drake May is going to outduel Baker Mayfield on Sunday at Raymond James Stadium. I just have a good feeling about where Drake May and the Patriots are at right now. All right, thank you, Danielle, Alex Speier, Fred Lynn. I'm Ben Volin for the Boston Globe Sports Report. We'll catch you next time.